Welcome to Toffee TV. This has been part of a series of videos for the season review. We've done a few now. I can't even remember how many we've done. We've done 5 already. This is the last one. This one we are looking forward to next season. We're jumping at Matt Jones again. With some expectations, because obviously that season's done. It's dusted. It's over. It's finished. It's in the can. Can't think of any other ways to say. And now
it's mad that you say last season already, because it's only just finished.
Well, we've said we've coined this, like, the season's finished. This is another season now. This is transfer season. So the football season is finished. Now it's the transfer season.
Off season. Yeah.
No, that sounds like you're off. This is the transfer season.
They are off though, aren't they?
But we're not.
Oh, we're not.
We're not.
The Toffee TVs.
No, this is the transfer
season.
Transfer season. I've coined it, Matt. Go with it. Right, transfer season. But anyway, Come on. So what are we? I mean, it's all hopes and dreams, and we're looking into the summer and what we want. I mean, what are our expectations for the summer and next season?
Expectations for the transfer season.
The transfer season. And next season.
It all depends on whether Romelu Lukaku and Ross Barkley stay or not. For me, in terms of what we do in the summer. Okay. If they both go, then Everton are going to need to revamp the style they play. Going to need to get players in who can be. I think the word Koeman used was productivity, wasn't he? We're going to need players who can contribute in the final third like that. So it's going to be a huge facelift in the final third of the team, and I think we need that anyway, even if they do stay. But it's going to be there's going to be a lot more surgery on it if those two go. And then to factor into the fact that we need a new goalkeeper, we need strength at the back as well. I think getting clarity on those two in terms of the future, whether they're both going to stay or whether they're both going to go, has got to be the number one thing for me. And then Everton can go from there. And in fairness, all the noise coming out about Ross seems to be the Koemans wanted to make a quick decision. It looks as though they're looking to do that quickly. So they're the first 2 points of order for me in the summer, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the futures of them are massive, isn't it? I mean, you look at it, if you just look at the 2 deals, you look at Ross and say, where can he, there's interest, from the other clubs, but if you're Ross Barkley, are you that confident in your own ability that you say, yeah, I'll go there as a squad player and force my way in? Or do you look and go, I'm playing every week here and this is where I want to play, so there's that. The Romelu Lukaku side of it is, Everton won £100 million for him. Is there anybody out there who wants to pay anywhere near that amount for him? Possibly not. I think Chelsea, the likes of Morata, offer a much better solution for them. Alexis Sanchez maybe, who they look like they're after. So them two quite easily could rock up at Goodison next season for another. Quite. Do
you honestly think? I know it would be sensible to think like this, but do you think there is 2 paths with or without, or do you think he'll just be going, well, we're going this way, and if Lukaku stays, it doesn't matter if he goes because we're going this way, and it's all about this, and we're going to try and buy this player, that player, and that player.
I think he's done it already with Ross. I think the fact that there's been dialogue with Swansea for Sigurdsson, even though there's no deal yet. I think Klassen, looking at the kid Klassen, Sandro, Ramirez, there's the names that are getting Kasper Dolberg, the names that are getting bounced around already. Everton are interested in. So it's kind of showing you, okay, Dolberg's more of a striker, but Ramirez, Sigurdsson, Klassen can all play the Barkley role. So he's kind of doing it with or without Ross, really. I think the interesting one's Lukaku, because ideally we'll be signing 2 centre forwards to go with Romelu Lukaku, especially with Coney going up to Valencia, going back to West Ham. And we've not really heard anything about a main centre forward, so that kind of, and all we're getting out of Everton is 100 million. So I'm not sure many. I think a lot of teams will go, you know what, leave him there again, leave him there till next summer. And next summer we'll go in with 45, 50, and 45 million for him is a snip, because he'll get 25 goals. And I think that's what a lot will do.
I think the 2 players definitely differ. I think you can bring in players in Barkley's position, and obviously there's more positions on the pitch to play that role, isn't there? A lot of times we've played, 4-2-3-1. There's been 3 attacking midfield players in the team, or you've got 2 wide players. But if Lukaku goes, you could go to, say, Lacazette and go, you're going to start every single week here, guaranteed.
150 grand.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be our main man every single week of the season. Whereas if Rom stays, I think you're looking at a different type of striker then. You're going to be looking for someone to supplement him, someone who can potentially play with him, but you're not going to have somebody there who's going to put him on the bench because he won't be happy.
Ideally, that's what we need.
Oh, yeah,
I think for me, that's what we need. We need a centre forward like a Lacazette. I'm saying we could get him,
how many teams in the league have that now?
But if you the top sides do, don't they? Okay,
I think
Spurs.
City are probably the only ones.
Spurs don't do they? But they have Son who can come on. They got Janssen who sits on.
That's what I mean. That type of player who can
just a level below.
Yeah.
But I think we want someone who's going to play in there with them now. But if we got a Lacazette and Lukaku stayed, say for argument's sake, and Rom hits a brick wall or is just not playing well, then Lacazette becomes your main striker and Rom sits on the bench. But he's also a centre forward who can play in the wide areas. Lacazette, he can drop into the flanks, and you can almost have 2 into 3, and your third player across that front three then can be Barkley, can be Sigurdsson, can be Klassen, because you're going with them. And I think if Everton can get those, because for me, that's our area where that's the difference between you winning away games and winning cups. Is your final third, is your front three, and our front three ain't good enough, and that's why that to me should be where we're looking.
Yeah.
Well, I
agree.
You know, what's your summer? You know, if we're doing the transfer season ahead of the expectations, what are you
buy players?
Do you think there's a different path with all of them?
I don't know. I mean, this is what, like you just said about Barkley, I think he's going to buy the players whether Barkley stays or not.
He said, hasn't he?
And I think you've got to do that, though. I think you've got to say, this is where we're going, and you've got to be part of this. And if you're not part of it, then we might have to buy a supply player after that. But we're going to buy a time. But I think you should always try and say, it doesn't matter who you've got. We should always be saying, we're going to try and buy a player who's better than Ross Barkley. We should be trying to buy a centre forward who's better than Romelu Lukaku. I don't think there's. You can't tell me. Romelu Lukaku might be the only exception, but you can't tell me that you can't go and find better players for every position in our squad, because we finished 7th at the end of the day, didn't we? So that's what we should.
But there are areas you have to prioritise, won't there?
Well, there will be, but we should just be saying we need a better player for every position, and if a player becomes available and we can get him, we should try and get him. No matter who it is, we should be trying to do that.
Because we could get a centre forward who's better for Everton than Romelu Lukaku, not better than Romelu Lukaku. He might only get 17 goals rather than 24. Of course,
he'll have a list, and the list will be, and he'll have a list, and he'll have a list, and he'll have a list, A, B, and C, and he'll have positions, and he might say, well, but this is my number 1 position first. But he's got to be on the awareness has got to be, well, if this other player becomes available, and he's a right back, we've got to go and get him, no matter what. And that's got to be, that's the way you've got to look at things. And of course, he's got to also look at it and go, they've all got to fit the way I play as well, because we've had loads of times in the past where we just bought players, certainly under Moyes, and it was all about, well, they're a good player, we need to, if we can get them, and they didn't always fit into the system. System's a huge part of football now, how you move between 4-4-2 and 3-5-2 and all the rest of it. So that's, I think, that's Walsh's sort of job, rather than Koeman's. It's whether we can get them, because this is the other problem, and we've said this for weeks, is that we're in a. Last year we bought players that we needed, and were like the best players from the other clubs, like Williams and Balassi. This season we're going up against everybody for the best players, because we've got to buy those players that get us from 7th to 4th or whatever to win trophies. We've got to be buying the best. They all want the best as well. That's the problem this summer. We've already seen, we've been linked with Keane and Sandro. The chances are we're not going to get either. And you're thinking, well, they're 2 players that we should be getting, but everyone else wants them, because there is a lack of quality. So from that point of view, we'll have to wait and see. But we might have to be patient. We might have to pay silly money for somebody. If it happens, it happens.
But there's definitely a type of player I'd like to see us go for, though. I mean, you know, we've talked about Rooney loads, haven't we, Baz? I think we disagree on it a little bit, but I think Everton need to be looking at players who are 23, 24, who have got room to grow into. And like I said in one of the other videos, players who can grow alongside us as a football club and who are happy to be part of the plan moving forward. Players who are dynamic and energetic, and they fit the Koeman blueprint. And like you said there, Ped, it's going to have to be players of a certain style and players who are aggressive to fit in Ronald Koeman's way. So I wouldn't really want to see us go out and sign players who are past the best. I want players who are on an upward trajectory, and either they stay at Everton and continue on that upward trajectory, or the club sell them in a couple of years and make a lot of money off them.
But where does that take us next season? I mean, that's the end game. I mean, we're in the Europa League. Obviously, we've got to try and improve on 7th place, and we won a trophy. For me, and we've probably said this every year for the last 3 or 4 years, I would be targeting the League Cup. Now, what that means is, is that when you get to September and you start playing, well, we'll be in the Europa League, won't we? So we'll move up around. But what that means is when we play the first round, we have to not prioritise it as such, but we have to be very aware that we can't just go kids, a couple of old players that we've done in the past. You look at what Mourinho did with Man United this year. He didn't go, we've got to win it, because what we're used to when we played in the Europa League is the first couple of games going hell for leather and winning them. Whereas Mourinho this season showed a different way of going, well, we need to win 3 games to get through the group stages. We're confident we'll do that. So there's a Europa game next week, but the League Cup's the most important thing. So let's go for the League Cup first. And I think that's what we've got to do. Because in other years, we've thrown the League Cup out the window by going, we've got to win that Europa League game first and foremost. You don't have to win that Europa League game first and foremost. If you're in the group stages, you be clever how you deal with it. I think that's what we've got to do. Because the League Cup can be done by, you've won it by February the 1st or whatever. You're in a European competition next year and you've got that first elusive trophy. So I think for me, that's got to be the most important thing for next season.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a broken record because we say it every year, that's what we should be targeting. I don't know whether he'll do that, because I think he wants Everton in the top 4, and I think that's what he spoke about Champions League, spoke about getting closer to the top 4. I think if we build a good enough squad, and again it comes down to, for me, final third players. If you've got 3 good centre forwards, you'll get past Norwich City at home in the League Cup. Yeah. If you replace Romelu Lukaku, with no disrespect to him at the time, but then Valencia, who hardly played that night, it's not going to happen. It comes down to better players. There's a reason why Manchester United got to the League Cup final, because when he swapped some of the players out, there was still a decent level. Whereas when we made the changes against Norwich, don't forget, Norwich made 10 changes themselves and beat us comfortably. Our attitude to the whole cup is a bit weird. And I don't know whether that's an attitude from Ronald Koeman, and whether the players look and go, because he kind of done it with Southampton. I remember him playing Liverpool in a quarter final, and he made like 8 changes. They got beat 6-1 at home, and he was like, yeah, it was my fault for that. And you're like, you're in a quarter there, close to,
Soz, lads.
You know what I mean? So last year, like Leicester, it was almost like, but 2-1 down with 20 minutes to go, I'm taking Ross Barkley off, who was playing well, to put a Runa Kone on, who was a joke.
That disappointed me as well. But if you think back to the teams we actually played in those 2 games, he rotated a couple of players in and out, but they weren't bad sides by any means. And like you said there, they played against a Norwich side who made 10 changes, and a Leicester team who hadn't won away from home anywhere all season, and they came to Goodison and won with a reserve side. So I think the attitude is definitely an issue. And I remember Koeman after that Norwich game was kind of going,
one of them things. I mean, we did have about 30 shots that night, didn't we, and all that, but we just went.
But then that was the start of the decline, wasn't it, for that period, that game?
Well, he made a couple of key changes, didn't he, and we just never ever recovered from.
But I completely agree with you, because I think the league's going to be his top priority again. All the talk about the last few weeks from him has been about getting among the top 4, and that might sound a bit ambitious, but it seems as though that's going to be his main target going
unless
forward.
He literally goes Europa League like United, Europa League, that gets us into the Champions League as well. So my league and my Europa League are my 2 things that I really want to concentrate on. The League Cup, it'd be nice to win it, but don't forget, for us, we're going 22 years, we want to win that. He's a 2nd year of a job that he might only be here for 3 or 4, and he'd be looking and going, well, I want that and that really, rather than the League Cup that he looks at and sees no stock in. Do you know what I mean? So as opposed to expectations next year, I feel as though with the right additions, we can make the ground up and have a fit, make a fist to go for that top 4. I really do. I don't see us miles away. We're probably miles away from Spurs and Chelsea. I would admit that. I think we're probably miles away from City in terms of being. I mean, they just went to Watford on 5, and we wouldn't have done that. So in them kind of teams, but Liverpool, United, Arsenal, I don't think we're miles away. I think in the final third we're off it.
I think we're not miles away, but when we play them, it feels like we're miles away.
But
more than anything else.
But what I was going to say was, and I agree with that totally, but there's a way down that, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a way down. If we did, yeah, but if also we could have lost the games we'd lost this season.
Yeah.
Like, but we also could have got 2 draws off Liverpool and we'd have been a lot.
But we could have lost all those games and beaten all the teams that are away from home.
And being in the top
and still
four.
being.
And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not matching up going, we're one player away from winning 4-0 at Anfield and 3-0 at the Emirates and all that. But there's a way to play it, and there's a way to play. Moyes done it. Moyes had us in it by winning our own games and winning enough away games against the dross that his record against the top 4 didn't matter.
I think the main thing is that Goodison probably feels like a bit more like a fortress now. For other teams, might feel like you might get that expectation that they'll come and think they're already beaten. But we need to keep that going, and we just need to build something away from home. And I know it's easy said and done, but it is buying those players that know our system. Like I still don't think it's his true system, and I think if he gets the players he wants and he finds that true system that we can play home and away and adapt to away games, then that's the most important thing. But he said it the other day, the tweet where he's going, looking forward to a great season or something next season, or exciting times, he said, doesn't he? It is that, isn't it? If he feels like that is actually coming, then that's optimistic. He
wouldn't tweet that, would he? He's a but he wouldn't, mate. He's not a blusterfuck man, is he? That's all. He'll tell you how, and he might go, thanks for the support, see you next season. His tweet last night, I sent it to you, he's out with the coaches and all that, and Ferguson, and he's like, having a think, exciting summer ahead. He knows what's happening. He knows.
Well, he's just thinking of all those places he can go in Germany. And,
he is as well, and having a couple of beers, but he knows what's happening.
The other thing that's important as well, I think, is that it's not just about transfers. There's going to have to be. I think the best managers get more and more out of his players. I think you've seen that with Pochettino at Spurs. There's lads there who I didn't think, Kyle Walker, I think, Danny Rose are the 2 most pertinent examples. I didn't think either of them were good enough, but he's worked with them and worked with them and worked with them.
He'll be boss for Man City.
And he's made them effective players, and that's why I think you look at Kevin Riles' contract, and while it was one of those where you think, not really sure about that, Koeman might have looked at him and thought, there's attributes there I can work with. Another pre-season, another summer, getting to grips on the training pitch, he might help us. And then you think, Tom Davies is going to improve again, Mason Holgate's going to improve again, Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be better off for the experience he's had in the team. So it's not, we haven't even mentioned the young lads coming through. So it's not just about going out and spending massive money on players. Schneiderlin's only played 12 games for us. He's going to be better acquainted with everybody to start next season.
He said that, didn't he, himself in a tweet?
And I think, and funny, and he said about him and Garner, didn't he? And I think actually we've seen towards the end of the season, I think Garner needs a break. I think he needs a break from football and recharge the batteries, and they'll come back together and hopefully build because you look at it, the midfield 3 is just completely different than to the beginning of the season and certainly last season. So get those 3 starting to play in a more effective unit, getting players round them, whichever system he chooses. And as I say, the League Cup is what I'd be targeting. That's just me, because I just want a trophy and you can get that out of the way. You think about this season, you think about Man United won it, didn't he? But you don't even sort of it come and goes. But for us, it's such an important thing. But it's how he balances, it's how he juggles those 3 tournaments early on: the Premier League, the Europa League, if we're in the group stages, of course. Don't want to do it West Ham, and the League Cup, and how we balance. Because I think that's always been our biggest problem when we've been in the Europa League. We've got it completely wrong. We haven't been able to juggle the 3, and because of our squad not being big enough, of course. But being in the Europa League for me gives us license to go and build that squad, whereas a lot of people in the past have been like, we shouldn't go in the Europa League, it causes too many problems. For me, it's the opposite. It allows the manager to say, I need 10 players of varying degrees of...
We've never had the money before.
No, we haven't.
That's the difference. We've got the money now. We've got the money to the freedom and the wage bill with obviously the USM deal to be able to go, I need this and I need this and I need that. And we've also got a band of young players coming through who can go in and do it. We've Brendan Galloway, we spoke about on one of the other reviews, is backing in amongst that squad. There's players I'd like to see, like Ben Chilwell. I'd like to see us go and try and get him, and you know, bring him into the squad as a backup for Leighton Baines, you know, because that's an area that we're going to have to look at. There's players, you know, that he will have to go and get. There's players that he can bring through, but for the first time we're going into a European competition. Hopefully we'll get to the group stages and we're going to be able to have the money to build a squad. But again, you've got to buy quality in that final third. If you want to mix it properly, you've got to buy the quality in that final third. You can't rely on Romelu Lukaku and Ross Barkley, because you can't. It's
about having variety of options for me as well. And I'm a big fan of someone like Sigurdsson. But I've said people saying to me, you know, he doesn't create chances from open play, doesn't do this, doesn't do that. But I wouldn't say get him in as a replacement for Barkley. It's about having different
quality, isn't it?
It's about saying, well, if Ross isn't on it today, he's not creating chances, Sigurdsson just stick one in the top corner for a free kick. It's about having those different options that can get you through games. And going back to the squad as well, it's great having lots of different players, but you're right, Ped, it's a skill being able to rotate them well. I think Mourinho is the example, like you said there. He does it so well.
Ferguson was the greatest.
Does it so well.
Ferguson was the greatest, and that's why he won as many trophies as he could, because he knew exactly when to rotate them, when to leave them out. Even if other people thought, well, he's been playing great, yeah, but it's time to leave him out and time to introduce someone else. He was brilliant at it.
There's an art to it. I think, look at Zidane at Real Madrid this season. He's got Ronaldo sitting on the bench for all the away games, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know, he's got him believing this is the right way to go about it, and it's about getting all those players to buy into that method and saying, you know, I know you've been playing every game this season, I know you've been playing well, but just take a step back this week and being able to understand there's a reason behind doing it.
No, you're absolutely right. But you're right though, aren't you? And that's having more players. That's like saying, well, when we play at home, we're going to have all our attacking players, and when we play away, we're going to have more counter-attacking players. That's what good squads do. That's what you do. That's what you need in Europe as well. You need different ways of beating teams, because you come up with different, especially in the Europa League, where you do come up against like a lot of cloggers. You know, people who just want to kick you off the park. Especially if you've got a bit of a reputation, you need different kind of play. You go back to when we brought Eto in. I know it didn't quite work because manager's a tit, but you think of why he was brought in, and for that short spell, he gave us exactly what we needed. And sometimes you've got to do that, and sometimes, you know,
he should have played every week though.
But he should have
as a centre forward
and been player manager as well, and he should have been number 9. And I'm fuming he's not. Told you that.
I love that too.
I love that too. I love that too.
He called it very early on.
He did,
didn't he? Call him out.
I always forget not getting that shirt with his name on the back.
I always forget not getting a Barcelona shirt with his name on and taking it down to Finch Farm, getting a bleeding sign and putting it in a frame. That's what I regret.
Yeah.
And an Inter Milan one as well. And an Inter Milan one as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Dickhead. Absolutely. When am I ever going to bump into Eto ever again?
He's doing well in Turkey.
At Finch Farm.
You're going to bump into.
Well,
he's doing pretty well in Turkey at the moment.
Yeah, it's never been him. Any more to anything else you want to throw in?
No, I'm quite happy with how it's going.
There you go.
Should be a really exciting summer.
Okay, right.
That you watch on Patreon.
Where do you expect? What would be success next season, Premier League position wise?
I'm going to get slated in the comments or whatever here, because I wouldn't mind us finishing 7th again if we are part of a genuine top 7 and we are right in there competing with those other sides. If it's just 1 or 2 points between us and we've played well at Anfield, we've played well at some of those big grounds, and we've made it a genuine top 7, and we can look at it again and say we've made progress, and we can say to players in the summer, look where we are right in there with these teams. I'm not entirely sure we can say that yet, but if we do that next season off the back of a good European campaign, we go and get a cup, then I think that is another sign of progress for me. But sorry, everyone thinks I'm being negative there.
Success would be top 4. That's success. I couldn't sit here and say success is top 7 because I couldn't. I know what you mean, Matt, and it would again kind of back up.
Well, it will replace the word success with progress.
Progress. Well, I always look at progress if you're finishing higher than you've just been.
Okay.
So we've made progress this year. We were 11th, we've gone 7th. If we go 6th, you'd go, well, we are making progress because we're now 6th in with a big 7. And if we won a trophy, that would certainly be progress. But I want us to be right in the mix for the top 4. And if we fall away, so be it. But I don't want us to be 15 points behind it in 6th. I want us to be fighting for it. And that to me will be real progress, and we may end up It may end up that the 6th or 7th, and you go, we've 4 points or 5 points off
So you
it.
can say like 70 points.
But if, I mean, that's more realistic. We've ended with what, 61?
Yeah.
Is it? So 70 points, I think, will be real progress. A cup would be amazing.
Cup.
If we got 70 points and a cup, that will be progress. But the 70 points, the
Europa League, get into the Champions League.
That'll be laughing.
Yeah.
And buy some good players.
Get Etsy back as well.
Get Etsy back.
Just so you can sign Ped shit.
Yeah. For no other reason.
None whatsoever.
That Burnley game was great, wasn't it?
Still better than Coney. His pass from Morales is 4th against Wolfsburg. The fella. Morales just give the eyes and
He's headed on his debut against Chelsea.
Yeah. The noise when he came on that day was incredible.
Glass boots as well. Just glass boots. Why, Bobby, why?
You've got Lambert, we've got Samuel.
Why didn't he just sack Martinez and put Eto in?
Yeah.
That would have made more sense, wouldn't it?
He went to Sampdoria.
I forgot about that. That was weird.
Sampdoria, but like they'd signed him like 10 days before, and Martinez was like
staying.
Kamakalali going, no, nothing to see here. He's staying, very successful player.
Samuel's great.
See him on the telly behind.
Yeah,
he's like that.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, right there we have it. We've done it. We've done the season review. Had a little look at next season. Check out all the videos. There's 6 videos. Whew. Content galore. Let us know in the comments your thoughts as ever. Where you think we're going, what you think we're doing, and who you think we're signing. Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching Toffee TV. We'll see you later.